Well, hello there, everyone. It's good to see you again. Once again, pretending to see you since you're not up here. I am. It's lonely. Too bad. We'll get you up here soon. There are rumors. There's something in the wind out there suggesting that maybe we'll be getting together on our mezzanine again sometime soon. After all, Cosmo's Barbershop is open. You can go in and get a haircut. So I finally had my ears lowered and we're feeling slightly more normal again, especially now that the air is slightly cleaner and definitely cooler. And let's hope the heat is over with and the smoke gets the heck out of here. And in all other ways, things start to feel a little more normal. What remains normal is my getting to see you once a week, or at least talk to you and bring you the concepts of new wines, things that are new at the Wine Steward. We want to tell you first off that the rumor, yet another rumor, of the upcoming Zoom event about sparkling wine is being firmed up. It's becoming less of a rumor and more of a fact. And hopefully by tomorrow I'll be able to present that to you in an email. And on our website you'll be able to see that we will once again get together with you guys kind of virtually and talk about sparkling wine for once. A bunch of different sparkling wines from all over the world that are not champagne, because we're going to save champagne for the festive end of the year, and I hope it's festive, don't you? So, sparkling wine, Zoom event coming up. It's a 6-pack sampler of sparkling wine that we would ask you to purchase, and you simply do not have to open all 6 of those. So think of it as a sampler pack of affordable bubblies that you're buying, and then you get to choose which ones you want to open while I jabber on for about an hour about all 6. Pick your faves. I know it's going to depend on how many people are around you. You know, you can open perhaps 3 of those if you have a couple of other couples with you. But, that's up to you. But what we will prepare is a wonderful sampler of 6 wines, 6 sparkling wines from all over the world that are distinctively good. And we'll start a conversation about what the Charmat method is, what is Méthode Traditionnelle, what is Méthode Champenoise, and so on. So it's going to be a fun and informative and extremely fizzy night. So let's prepare for that. Once again, more facts coming tomorrow. Before we get into the main topic for the week, let's tell you about a great wine that I have right here. I had to tell you about it because, once again, we've gotten ourselves into a bit of inventory trouble on purpose. On purpose meaning I couldn't not buy this wine. I tasted it only yesterday and I said, I need this by tomorrow so I can talk to you about it in our video, so that I can start telling people like Steve and Clayton and you other Pinot lovers out there about the beautiful Kanzler that has just come in. Got to taste this wine only yesterday, as I said. This is a producer up in the Petaluma Hills, I think, just west of Petaluma. They're only 8 miles in from the Pacific Ocean, and they make a few different Pinots, but this is the Russian River version that uses some estate fruit and then fruit from a few others. Kanzler is also known for being a wonderful vineyard. They own vines and sell fruit to prominent people out there. Costa Brown would be the most sought for, perhaps, but great names like Flowers and many others have been accessing fruit from these people for a long time. Great wine is, of course, shepherded by a great winemaker, but it is especially great because of fruit source, where it is grown. The source, the terroir, they call it in France. The place that cannot be replicated or duplicated anywhere else because it's distinctive. It's that place. Adding combination and soil and all those things together gives you something amazing. So that's why Pinot Noir makers especially clamor for fruit from a certain place so they can express that place. So, like I said, great winemakers have been buying this, and now Kanzler takes some of their fruit and makes a gorgeous Pinot that usually costs around $60. We're going to come down a little bit from there because I committed myself to 3 freaking cases of a rather, not so cheap Pinot Noir. So this is my plea to you, Steve and Clayton and so on, and anybody who likes fantastic Pinot Noir. We will not be at 60, especially with your wine club discount. We'll get lower than that. But what you're getting is what I would call luxury level, cult style, whatever you want to call it to make it sound more fancy. I'm just going to call it freaking delicious Pinot Noir. I have it in my glass right here. This is the 2018 vintage of Kanzler Pinot Russian River, from which I'm getting automatically saucy fruit like pastry filling fruit. Once again, the allusion to the the steaming hot pie on a windowsill, cooling down, and you can smell it from a mile away. And besides, there is earthiness. There's a little bit of porcini mushrooms, perhaps. There's some kind of mushroom thing going, a forest floor thing, we more politely call it. People don't necessarily want to smell mushrooms in their wine, so we just say, oh, do you sense the forest floor here? I do. And also perhaps moldering leaves. Like, this is a very fall set of smells in that we've got pie on the windowsill from harvest. We've got the forest floor quality and the like a leaf pile of moldering leaves. It's fun to say with an accent, but I won't fake accents anymore. I'll just say that in the fall we've all raked up a pile of leaves and perhaps let it sit for a couple of weeks, and then if you were to come and all of a sudden decide to throw that into your bin or a hefty bag, that smell of composting leaves is very comforting and very fall. There's not a more fall smelling thing. It's in this wine, along with fruit. Fruit's prevalent, but you get all these nuances, as you should. When you buy up for great Pinot Noir, you should smell more than one thing. Plenty of things happen in this wine, I promise. Kanzler, 2018, freaking beautiful Pinot Noir. Oh man, it's juicy good. It's got richness and it's got levity. It keeps you wanting more. I want more, I'll have more later. Because I have other things to tell you about. We are going to rip through really quickly descriptions of 12 wines that are going to this month's Wine Club members next week. So pickup will be, I believe, next Wednesday, not a Friday. What I have to do in the meantime is get some notes written about those wines. I do, in fact, devote an entire page to each wine. So 12 pages of wordy words will be presented to the Wine Club members along with these wines next week. So they'll see these in an email that says, your wines are ready to pick up, here's the notes, and please read your notes, we appreciate it, because you've never heard of these wines in most cases. Like, why did we, the Wine Steward, choose this wine for you? And so this is the premise, this is justification, this is our plea to, we want you to understand where we were coming from when we, with a vendor, maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago, tasted this wine right here and chose it for your club. We worked with the vendor to get a good deal. It came down at a budget. And you know what else helped? What else helped was the fact that there's not 3 of you people that we're buying this for this California Wine Club. Gosh, I think there's over 180 of you. And I was therefore empowered when I made a deal to get this wine. Price came down because of the quantity purchase. So what this Wine Club thing is from this place, the Wine Steward, not a winery, but the Wine Steward, you get every month 2 bottles of wine, regardless of which of the 6 clubs you're in. 6 clubs. Did you read all that real quick? Good. 6 clubs. Join one, join more than one. A lot of our members are in several. And we're basically buying you great things based on our tasting wine for a living. That's the wonderful thing I get to do, is taste and taste and taste and taste on your behalf. And with a fairly trained palate by now, as you would expect, I get to make choices with priorities. First of all, quality for price. That's the main priority, but I also want to offer you diversity. So let's say you're in the California Wine Lovers Club. Might as well start talking about that one. For $39.99 a month, you're getting 2 bottles of red that come, let's just say, not just from California, but also occasionally Oregon and frequently from Washington State, because both of those places give you also domestic flavors. So California Wine Lovers, 2 red wines from the West Coast, we'll say. And you're getting those wines once a month. They're 2 different bottles, and they're often things you've never heard of or had before. You're usually not going to see them down the street at a Safeway or a Rayleigh's or a Bevmo. And if you do, we are price competitive. And then if you factor in your Wine Club discount, you're kicking ass on price. You're going to get a 10% discount on all of the purchasing you do here at the Wine Steward if you're a Wine Club member. So that's a benefit. The exposure of great wine every month, a benefit. You're helping a local business, a benefit to you and to us. Downtown looks better with the Wine Steward here. You're keeping us here. You're also benefiting your fellow club member with those numbers. Again, like if I only had 10 California Wine Club lovers members, I would not have the bargaining power. I would not be able to get this wine down to a club budget. So you're helping each other. This is a feel-good thing all around. So that's the pitch for club. Now let's just launch right into telling you about all 12 really quickly. I'm going to zoom through this as if it's a Zoom event and tell you about what, first of all, the California wine lovers are getting. No, I'm not. I'm going to tell you what the white wine club members are getting because I kind of want to start with white wine. So going to get out this skinny little bright white glass, we call it, and tell you about these two wines right here. Sometimes there's a little theme between the two wines going on, and this month it's convenient. They're both from Italy. This is a wine that is frequently drunk in Rome because it's made only 15 miles away south of Rome, and it's called Frascati. Frascati is the type of wine. It's the name of the wine region, essentially. Within Lazio, that's the state or province within Italy. Rome is the capital. And Frascati is the wine type that we're having. It's 70% Trebbiano and 30% Malvasia. And Frascati, as you will drink it in Rome as a wandering tourist, is often crap. It's not very good wine, but it's what you do in Rome, when in Rome, right? So Frascati is the white wine you're most commonly served. It's the local stuff that is usually not so good stuff. This is a good one. This is not like complex and amazing, but what it is fresh and enlivening, refreshing. It's got some complexity to it. Most importantly, it has minerality. The importer who showed it to us is especially proud of the wines he chooses based on minerality. If you know that term, it means basically that you can feel maybe a sense of wet rock in the mouth, along with fruit. Obviously, there's fruit. But this is a beautifully, slightly vague set of descriptors going on here in the nose. It's vaguely tropical, a little bit of apple, vague. It's very refreshing. I expect you to get your nose even farther into the glass. Totally refreshing, crisp, enlivening. Again, not complex, but it's also not expensive. Frascati, which usually sucks, does not suck here. So we found you a good one, all right? That's the Frascati from Italy. And then we're going to take you to the heel of the boot in Puglia, Italy, and show you a Fiano. Well, it's not truly Fiano. Apparently, it's probably a grape called Minutulo, and it was misnamed Fiano for a very long time. But what's most important to know is that we've gone to the heel of the boot, a place that's warm, the southernmost part of Italy, to find you white wine, which usually is perilous because in a warm place, white wine becomes more heavy and plodding and no longer refreshing. But leave it to the Italians to find acidity in nearly everything they make, white and red. And here it is. This white is, in fact, it smells bigger and it will be on my palate bigger than the Frascati. But it's complex and it's still, let's see. This wine's complex. This has much more complexity than the Frascati. It says more and it gives you two effects. It gives you acidity, that refreshment, and interestingly, tannins. Tannins are an effect we usually expect from red wine, and very occasionally white wines do it too. This gives you some kind of chunky grip in the mouth that makes you hungry. So what I highly suggest is you treat this as a warm day or evening white wine that you drink by itself. It's also great with shrimp, but this is where you truly want to involve food. It expects it, it wants it, and I think pork roast or pork tenderloin would be fantastic with that. Just something a little more powerful. White meats, let's say, for this wine, Fiano, misnamed perhaps. We'll be writing about that in the notes, from Puglia, Italy. Voila. Let's tell you about our least expensive red wine club. So one of our clubs gives you all whites and 5 of them give you all reds. So this is our least expensive red wine club called the Tuesday Night Wine Club. And you're getting this month 1 domestic and 1 foreign. So very quickly, Washington State strikes again. This is called Vino. Vino is 70% Cabernet Sauvignon and 30% Sangiovese. Vino, the Italian term for, fun, inexpensive red wine. This is fun, inexpensive red wine that acts Italian, a la vino. And it acts that way because it's clean, it's fully ripe, it's got wonderful ripe fruit going on, but it's not heavy and oaked up. In fact, it never saw a barrel. That's cool. Cabernet and Sangiovese never seeing a barrel. This is delicious juice. You're gonna come back for more once you have it, I promise. The other red wine in that club is Regalia. This is a producer in Sicily, and they're making a 100% Nero di Avola here. So Nero di Avola is probably the most prominent, best known grape from Sicily. We're representing it here in an inexpensive, but so much fun to smell wine that I had to do it with you. Let's go there. Regalia producer, Nero di Avola is the grape variety. Oh my, it's, if you've ever trimmed a rose bush while the foliage is still out there and while you might still have roses that are just like, you're taking off the ones that are just slowly wilting and cleaning up that rose bush maybe in the spring. This has the quality of both the rose petals, which are most fragrant, right, when they're seeing some heat and starting to wilt, and the foliage. So it's got some red and it's got some green, not too much green. That the green is a nuance. We don't want green wines around here, but this wine has both red and green going on. Red, deep red, dusky, super fragrant rose petals. On the palate, it has what I call beautiful flow. It's a nice palate feel that hardly has any resistance at all. This is juicy, good wine. Regalia. Look forward to trying this wine, and I'm warning you, you'll probably be back for more. We have a very good price on it because of your numbers. You are helping downtown Pleasanton, you're helping your fellow club member, and you're helping yourself to diversity every month. I can't say that enough. I think our clubs are pretty cool. The hundreds and hundreds of members that we have agree, and we're very grateful to them. They are keeping us alive right now. Right on. Let's move on to another club, shall we? What club shall we tell you about? Okay, let's go to California Wine Club. Boom, a wine we have not had on our shelf for a long time, but even though it's been a while, this Letitia has been with us over the years several times. And it's kind of fun after 20 years of being in the business to see something come and go and then come back again. And I can't tell you how happy I am to see this wine once again. This is a very familiar label to me, especially because of my visits to Pismo Beach, making a nearly suicidal left turn off of Highway 1 as you're heading south to enter the driveway of Letitia. Even got to stay in a beautiful home there once. This is a 2 or 3 exits south of Pismo Beach itself. You're in a wine region called Arroyo Grande. And they just more vaguely call it Santa Barbara County on the label because that's more marketable, frankly. But Arroyo Grande is also the home of Tally. So if you know Tally Pinot Noirs and you want to buy down a little bit from their price point, you buy Letitia, which is a lot of Pinot Noir for the money. It's not Pinot Noir trying to be Syrah. It's not Pinot Noir trying to be Cabernet or Petit Syrah. It is Pinot Noir being beautiful Central Coast, sideways country Pinot Noir. Smoke and some roasted fruit. And there's cranberry going on. It's true Pinot. So in other words, it's not enlarged by additions or crazy winemaking tricks. I've always respected Letitia for that. They make honestly good, fully ripe Pinot Noir. And this is a celebration of the return of Letitia to our shelves and to your clubs. So you longtime members will remember this. And you'll be glad it's back, won't you? The other wine that our California Wine Lovers Club is receiving is West Coast. And it's not California. This takes us once again back to Washington State. Casa Smith is a branch winery of a larger concern run by a really crazy, bigger-than-life guy named Charles Smith. So Charles Smith has under his umbrella several brands, all made at the same winery, all made under his careful gaze and the gaze of his partner winemaker, Brandon Layton. They make, under key vintners, a lot of beautiful Syrahs. They make some amazing cabs. And then there's another Sixto line that's made for Chardonnay, or that's meant for Chardonnays. Several different gorgeous, amazing Chardonnays you never would have thought came from Washington. And we're still learning about Washington, right? Casa Smith represents this winery's Italian varietals. So, I think it was about 6 months ago, we gave you a Primitivo from Casa Smith. Here comes Sangiovese, correct Sangiovese. What I mean by that is it's not enlarged, it's not goofed around with too much oak, new oak. It did see oak, but the oak was fairly neutral in flavoring. So this is Sangiovese kind of the way the Italians like to make it, with just a little bit more New World fruit forwardness. It is delicious, it's correct, and that's why it qualifies for the club. We want to give you wine that we're proud to give you, that we worked hard to identify, and we worked hard on the price for you. So it's a great value, it's accurate Sangiovese. Don't expect big black fruit from this. Sangiovese doesn't want to be big and black, it wants to be red. Red fruit, wonderful acidity, and just a skosh more room in the seat and thighs as far as fruit forwardness because it's from the New World, it's from Washington State. So it will have its generosity, but it will not forsake Sangiovese varietal, okay? Let's go to the Wine Adventure Wine Club now. And just very quickly gloss over this because we spent a lot of time on it last week. We're so damn proud of our local son, our guy, John Laram, who was raised in Pleasanton, ended up making wine up in Napa, met his future wife who was over from France, from a winery there in order to learn about American winemaking. So John married Francoise, and ultimately 30 years later, John has the reins of this winery in the south of France, in Rasteau, which is near Châteauneuf-du-Pape. This is freaking great wine that very, very, very few people in the whole United States have the honor of carrying. We get to carry it because we're good friends with John, have known him a long time. He's obviously a Raiders fan. That's his new label design. And besides getting to make the wine his way, finally, Papa has handed him the reins. He also gets to embellish with Raiders colors, though it's obviously a classic French label too. So he's blending the two ideas. It's kind of cool. And Rasteau, once again, is going to be Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre. Usually, in this case, I think there is no Syrah this time around. At any rate, it's from his oldest vines on the property. Over 100-year-old vines contributed to this wine. This is $24.99. You club members get it for $22.49. While we have it, we bought extra because we only get to buy it once. So please, if you like Rhone Reds at all, pounce on this wine. It's already available. You'll see it on the website. Wine Club members get their official bottle next week. Very happy to once again say too much about that wine, but it's worth it. This is another wine that takes you to a totally different place, back to Australia. Last month we gave you Australian Shiraz. That's how they say it down there, somewhat. From the Barossa Valley, and this takes us to Margaret River. It's our intention to get you up to speed on new places that you've never heard of before. That's why I write these notes. We choose wine to take you somewhere interesting. So Australia has, of course, this well-known region called Barossa, from which the greatest Shiraz in the world comes from. We're going west. We're heading toward the Indian Ocean, the west coast of Australia, for Cabernet Sauvignon, which is the most planted grape variety in the Margaret River region. So here we go. This is Cab. That, if you factor in that this is Southern Hemisphere and Bordeaux is in the Northern Hemisphere, they actually have the same latitudes. So Margaret River, same latitude as Bordeaux, not as rainy, of course. So compare this to a Bordeaux in a dry, warm year for Bordeaux. And wow, yes, I've been trying this wine. I've had this wine like 5 times at least now. And just reminding myself that this is near Bordeaux in latitude, albeit on the other end of the world. I'm smelling New World style Bordeaux, let's say. It's not huge Cabernet. It is fully ripe Cabernet, but I can already detect its precision. This wine is rich in flavor, and yet it is high in acidity. It is saying in a very European way, ironically, that it wants to eat some meat. It wants you to eat some meat with this wine. Give this some air and give it some protein. That's my wish. That's my hope from Thoughtful Wine Club members who are either seeing this video, reading the notes, or asking downstairs when we hand you your wine club, what about this wine? What should we do with it? I'm telling you, protein, protein, protein is what this beautiful classical style Cabernet wants. Fully ripe, classical with structure, acidity, and tannins. Beautiful wine. 94 points from James Halliday, if that matters to you. It's a high-scoring wine. We chose it because it's good. All right, let's go to the here we go. Wow. Heaviest bottle on the table. This is not a wine I'm going to open yet because I might not be getting to writing the notes for it today, but this is Monsant Blau. This is the big boy. This is the top wine from a producer called Monsant Blau in Monsant, Spain. Monsant we often call the donut region, around the donut hole of Priorat. So we're south of Barcelona by about an hour and a half's rental car drive, visiting Monsant. Monsant is the area for Grenache, or Garnacha as they'd call it, and Carignan, Carignana as they'd call it. And those two grapes figure primarily in this wine. This is like I said, the uber wine. We kind of blew the World Class Club budget. We spent too much money on you this month, and no apologies. I think we kind of owed it to you anyway. But if some of you have had a wine called Clio before, Clio comes from a totally different area farther down the Spanish eastern side. Clio is made by the same people as this, and this behaves a lot like Clio. So this is, even though it's from what we call the old world geographically, it's very new world in style. It's full frontal fruit, a lot of geographical or terroir structure. You know, you can still taste and feel the rock that it grows out of, but it is big, sexy barbecue wine, and you want to open it for that. So make sure you probably maybe have this with your American or domestic wine-loving friends. And those who are saying, oh, I don't like foreign wine, I drink ripe things from California and I just don't get foreign, they will get this. You will be getting a geek out moment because of where it's from, and they'll be getting comfort because of how it behaves. Does that make sense to you? Monsant Blau, we're very proud to give it to you. We've got the last 12 six-packs available to give it to your club. So that's all there is of the vintage. We made a deal, and it wasn't good enough, and we took the wine anyway. So that's one wine, but let's take you back to the old world. The World Class Club gives you wines from all over the world except for domestic, usually. And so this is a little more classical and old world, taking us to northwest Italy, to the region of Piemonte. Within that region, you have the king and queen of the grape called Nebbiolo. So the king and queen are Barbaresco and Barolo. Barbaresco is the queen. We only call her that because she's a little more affable. She's nicer to you when she's released out to the market. And so Rizzi Barbaresco is obtainably priced as Barbaresco goes. This wine is frequently $50 on up, and a big way on up. Here we're at $39.99 for good, very good Barbaresco, very expressive stuff. I'm gonna make sure. 100% Nebbiolo. And to your club members, club members will get it for $35.99 because of your club discount. So enjoy that. Pour it in a wine glass like this, please. This is a Pinot Noir glass. We'll advise you of that in your wine club notes. Smell it like crazy. Probably want to decant it. Probably want to make a braised meat dish for it, whether it's braised ribs, short ribs, or if you're really into the, let's get it right, ossobuco is the classic thing to do here. Wonderful smell. So fragrant. It's very appealing. It's a little scary too, because I know that Barbaresco and Barolo give you a tannin thing. I forgot I have a spit bucket down there. This is juicy, delicious, dried rose petal. We often say potpourri when we describe good Barbaresco. It's got all that, and then it kind of kicks you in the ass with tannins. Well, it's not going to as soon as you involve protein. That's the magic of food and wine pairing. That's what, of all the wine countries in the whole world, the Italians are best at making their wine for. Food, food, food. Give this to some beautiful wine, a beautiful meal. Now that hopefully fall is really on the way, this wine will make total sense with the kind of food that you want to cook in fall and winter. I'm so pleased to be able to provide a Barbaresco for $39.99 before club discount. So let's finally tell you about the two wines that we're giving to our Red Collector Club. Red Collector Club is the most expensive, but we also give them theoretically the best wine and perhaps the most cellar-worthy wines, the wines you can collect and keep. We actually hope that you'll actually open both of these bottles sooner than later so that if you want to collect these wines, you can still come back here for more, because I can promise you that in a couple of months, whoops, they'll be gone. because there's only, I think, 400 cases made of each one of these wines, 400 to 500. They're small production, they're hard to get. And they're both Cabernets this time from the Napa Valley. That's kind of the emphasis of that club. For you cab lovers, join this club and enjoy your club discount along the way. What we've done for you this time, though, and it doesn't always work out this way, but it's so nice that this time we're giving you what I would call more classical Napa and more sexed up, thoughtfully sexed up Napa here. So this is made by a dude named Rick Foreman, who has been involved in Napa Valley winemaking since 1966, since I was 3 years old. So that's quite a lot of tenure. He's been involved at Sterling, at Newton. He had a lot to do with the formation and the creation of Duckhorn Vineyards. And for a very long time, he's had his own property, planted. He and Dick Abreu got together and worked on his property, which is at the base of Hell Mountain, to make his Foreman wines. And this wine called Chateau La Grande Roche, or basically the boulders, because there's quite a bit of significantly large rocks there on the property. This is his second label, so that's slightly more affordable. This tucks into the Red Collector's price point, barely, whereas the Foreman wine simply would not. So this is cool to taste something from Rick Foreman, a Napa Valley veteran who specializes in conservative sounds like this wine's going to be light. This wine is not light. Let's just say in classical Napa style. I'm going to go there with you because the cork is sticking out. There it goes. La Grande Roche. Yep. Those of you who admire cabs that aren't over huge but are full in character, you know, to be full of character does not mean you have to be like 16% alcohol and taste like pancake syrup. That's what's happening here. This is a guy who's been around in the Napa Valley long enough for him to have patience to open a wine like this in 10 years and for it to still be good. This is fantastic aging wine, I promise you. Nice stuff. Now let's go to something slightly enlarged. This is why we reserve the right to be opportunistic on your behalf and spontaneous as well. It was until yesterday that I had not chosen the other wine to go in this month's Red Collector Wine Club. I was holding my cards. I had ideas. I have a little list. I have an Excel spreadsheet. Like, okay, maybe we'll do this, maybe we'll do this. What should go next to this? I just haven't found that wine yet. Maybe Paul has it. So Paul came yesterday, one of our great vendors, has been showing us wine forever. He says, I think I have your next wine club wine. He had 10 wines in front of me. I had no idea which one he meant, and I didn't ask him. When he got to this wine, and I tasted it, and I heard the price, I said, it's this, isn't it? He said, yep, I knew you were going to go for it. Why? Because this wine is supposed to sell for $65 or $70. It's supposed to have a wholesale cost of X amount, which I will not relate because we have to have some privacy around here as a business. Can you see that color? This is made by the Barons family. Barons and Hitchcock is the former name for the winery. Barons Family Wines is the new name as of, well, probably 10 years ago. And those of you who have attended Paul Bullard events with us will almost always have tasted along through those 12 wines that he shows from France and from the Napa Valley, a Barons Family wine. They're always fruit forward, sexy, and smart at the same time. Sexy and smart, that's a good package, right? Whoa, this is dark, intense, 95% Cabernet Sauvignon, 5% Petit Verdot, coming from, I believe, 3 different vineyards in the Napa Valley, including some up in Calistoga. This is saucy beauty. Wow. What a wonderful counterpoint to this. What a wonderful thing it is to choose wine for you, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of wine club members every month. You get our full attention there. This is the service we provide. Not only do we spend a lot of time choosing and dickering, but we also we justify our choices for you in written form. So we really hope you read the notes. Basically, this is my shout out, my thank you to those members who've stuck for us a long time. This is welcome to those who have joined recently. And this is, hey, to the rest of you, think about it. Good for you, good for us, good for your fellow club member. There's a lot of good by being a Wine Steward club member. So thanks for listening. through 12, actually 13 different wines if you want to factor in this beautiful Kanzler Pinot, which I'll put on the website any moment now. Have a great weekend. Stay smoke-free. Hopefully you're enjoying the cooler air. And just a reminder that the winesteward.com is a great way to work if you want to do still curbside. They're still closing the street during the weekend, so come to the back door. If you want to do a curbside pickup, call us ahead of time. And look for that Zoom event that I mentioned. That's coming up. Thank you, everyone.